Hunting is an activity that can evoke a great deal of controversy in our modern day. Many people ask, is hunting ethical? Isn't hunting just a matter of murdering animals for fun? What are the reasons why people hunt? In this video, I'll be taking you along on an archery deer hunt, and along the way, I'll be answering all of those questions and much more. You'll learn the true reasons why people in our modern day still hunt, and why the hunt can even be elevated to a sacred activity. You know, a common misconception or criticism that many people have about hunting is that hunting is nothing more than murdering animals and that hunters are depraved individuals who just plain enjoy killing. There are, unfortunately, some in the hunting community who fit that description, but for the vast majority of hunters, this is certainly not the case. Now, make no mistake, yes, death is a part of a successful hunt. But in the grand scheme of things, though, death is an unmistakable part of life itself. The cycle of life and death are an undeniable reality, and every living creature plays a part in that cycle. A governing rule of life here on planet Earth is that something must die in order for something else to live. Everything that we human beings, as well as other living creatures, use to survive and thrive ultimately comes from resources that were once alive. Whether it's the wood that we use to build our homes, or the plants and animals that we consume to nourish our bodies. Those who hunt with the proper intentions are hands-on stewards of our natural, renewable resources, and they're active participants in nature's cycle of life, not just casual observers who essentially pay others to produce the food they eat. Now, as I often remind non-hunters, while filling the freezer with healthy, organic meat is the ultimate end goal of the hunt, the actual killing of an animal is a very small part of the process, and a tiny fraction of the hunting experience as a whole. But in this video, I'd like to invite you to come along with me on a recent archery deer hunt to see for yourself. This video is brought to you by the Hunting for God, Fishing for the Lord series of books. Come along on an unforgettable adventure for the soul. Learn more and order your copies today at Amazon.com by clicking on the link in the video description below or by visiting 3minutesoutdoors.com. It is 3:30 a.m. Getting a very early start this morning, heading up to northern Missouri to do a little bow hunting for white-tailed deer. This is usually quite a bit earlier than I head out, but I had a busy work day yesterday and I wasn't able to make it up there and spend the night, so I got to head out first thing in the morning. So that's the price you sometimes pay to get in a hunt. Ooh, so I'm gonna have a little bit of coffee and got about a two and a half hour drive to where I'm heading to do some hunting. So I will see you up north in Missouri. Hunting is an activity which often involves long hours of silence and solitude, both of which are precious commodities in our noisy, busy, hectic world. Whether it's a matter of driving for many hours to get to a hunting location, taking a boat ride to get there, or flying to your destination, the time spent in travel is a wonderful opportunity for meaningful conversation and quality time with family and friends. And if you're hunting alone, it's a great time to empty your mind of stress and distractions. Now, if you're a person of faith, as I am, those long, quiet hours are also the perfect time for prayer, for talking with the Lord, and perhaps even more importantly, listening to the Lord. It's not too often that we take the time, or make the time, to do nothing but cautiously listen to the voice of God speaking in our minds and hearts. Along with the time spent traveling, there's much more time spent in silence and solitude while on the actual hunt, especially while doing things like deer hunting from a tree stand, as I'm doing in this hunt, or sitting on a mountaintop glassing for game for hours on end, as one often does on Alaska-style open country hunts. Again, all those hours spent in peace and quiet is truly a soul-cleansing experience. While hunting can certainly be very rigorous and physically exhausting, it's also amazing how spiritually and mentally renewed and refreshed you can be after the hunt. And for many hunters, this is what they long for the most, and it's the primary reason they go hunting, perhaps even more so than putting meat in the freezer.
Alright, it is 3 hours later, and I am in the stand at about a 2-hour and 15-minute drive up here to North Missouri. Had a pretty good trek through the woods, and I am now in the tree stand, waiting for the sun to arise. Alright, it is almost shooting light. I've already had at least one, if not two, deer come through right in front of me here, but still too dark for an ethical bow shot. So in about another 15 minutes, we should be ready to roll.
As I often tell folks, there is a great paradox in hunting. While harvesting fresh, organic meat for one's family is the ultimate end goal, it's never fun to actually kill an animal. There is nothing joyful or exciting about watching an animal die. Hunters have the responsibility and the duty to practice with their weapon of choice to ensure a quick, clean, ethical end to an animal's life. But again, there is always an underlying feeling of sadness to watch a beautiful animal die. But at the same time, though, there is also a feeling of intense satisfaction that the hunt was successful, that all the planning, preparation, and hard work was not in vain, that indeed one will be going home with a supply of food for the months to come. It's this sense of satisfaction that gives one a good feeling. And the harder that one had to work to make that hunt successful, the greater that good feeling will be, sometimes to the point of jubilant celebration. The taking of an animal's life is also an act that evokes tremendous, humble gratitude. As many serious hunters do, both modern and primitive, after successfully harvesting an animal, I get down on my knees and thank God for this great gift, as well as paying homage to the animal itself, expressing my thankfulness for its life and promising that I will not waste any of its meat. No matter if it's a magnificent record book-sized buck or a doe such as this one, I'm equally thankful for every animal that I harvest, and I treat every one with the same sense of sacred respect. As any hunter will tell you, the real work begins after the animal is down, especially if it's a big game animal. Field dressing that animal, removing all the edible portions of meat, including the organs, and then packing all that meat out of the woods or out of the mountains, and ultimately bringing it all back home, can be a great deal of hard work, especially on remote hunts, where you may have to pack all that meat out for miles and miles through rugged terrain, all the while being mindful of other hunters who may be on the prowl. And the work doesn't end there. For many hunters, such as myself, once the meat is all back home, then comes the task of butchering, processing, packaging, and properly storing all that meat until it's time to cook it up for a delicious meal, many of which I feature here at this channel. When the animal that a hunter harvests finally makes it to the dinner table, every bite is one of gratitude. One can't help but to experience all the memories and all the emotions of the hunt once again. To top it off, The experience of the hunt and the animal that was harvested literally become part of you, as the protein from that animal now becomes a part of your own body. It's in such truly sacred moments that one realizes that the cycle of life continues. And out of all the hours, all the days, all the weeks, and all the months that are sometimes required to bring about a successful hunt, less than half of a second was dedicated to killing. For indeed, the vast majority of the hunting experience is about life, not death. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to this channel and check out the 3 Minutes Outdoors website at 3minutesoutdoors.com. And finally, if you'd like to support this channel, click on the link in the video description below to find out more.